so today we're going to talk about a few things, mainly three topics. As you can see, the Batman 2, Superman, and Transformers. As always, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, show your support, whichever way you can. We're about to get into this, so drop your comments and stuff. So we'll be talking and chatting up a bit. Not that much today, but we're just gonna be talking about a few things, like I said. So we're gonna be chopping it up and all that good stuff. What's up? What's up? What's up? I see y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. All that goodness. Y'all already know what's up. Transformers. You already know what's up. We're gonna talk about that. That's the main thing I want to talk about today. But we're gonna talk about the other two things real quick with DC and stuff. So as always, you already know we're gonna give it like about a minute. So while we wait for these notifications on and all that good stuff. So hopefully everybody's having a good weekend. We're about to get going. So drop your comments. I'm checking them out before we get started. You're playing Ninja Gaiden on the PC while you're talking. Nice, nice, nice. That's a good game. I think they have a new one coming out too. So I know that game was dope back then. What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate y'all. Yep, yep, yep. Guns Eagle is hurt now for sure. We're gonna talk about that. Like I said, let's give it a few more seconds while we wait for more people. I see the more people are tuning in and stuff like that. So you'll see right now. So there's a reason why I got the screen black right now and things like that. So we're gonna talk about this and stuff. So it's very interesting. You know, a lot of news has been dropping back to back and stuff. So this is very interesting. You know what time it is. Do a collab with DC, Marvel, and Transformers. That would be cool. I'm down. I'm down. You know, whoever wants to link up, you know, let me know. I might be doing one soon that is gonna be open so anybody can join. So just keep on the lookout. Probably tomorrow I'll do that. So you know, I know some of y'all want to get on the live stream and stuff. I'm probably gonna have an open invite to anybody that wants with the link. So you know, just to interact with y'all and stuff like that. And it's good because I want to hear some of y'all. You know, like you know, it's good reading the comments, but you know, if we can hear each other, then that's even better. And I know people have told me about Discord. I do have one, but it just gets too nuts. You know, I be getting constant messages, and it's just, you know, like I have to mute my messages and stuff like that. But all right, let's get started and let's talk about this first things first. All right, so look, we already saw that the Batman 2 script was turned in, and you know, this is what DC is doing right now. You know, I'm not gonna go ahead and talk down on it because you know, it has been a few years, and let's be real, you know, it's just taken them too long to get this script, but they finally have it. And who knows what they're gonna do with it? You know, I'm really not excited for it just because I wasn't a fan of the first one. I'm not a fan of Robert Pattinson and you know this whole thing with Matt Reeves and what his universe is going. But kudos to them. You know, let's see what comes from it and stuff like that. And let's see what happens and stuff. So that's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna come from this. So you know, it is what it is, and you know, it's just gonna be interesting. Let's see what they want to do because of course we know that Clayface is gonna start filming soon. That's crazy, huh? They're gonna start Clayface, I guess, before the Batman 2, but then they want to do Clayface rated R. I don't get it, you know. And then the Batman was rated PG-13. So which route are they gonna go? I don't know, honestly, you know. And so what? So what? A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, you know, with the script and stuff like this is all gonna help them, and you know, blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what else had a script and they filmed it, but they canned it? Batgirl. Remember? Y'all remember Batgirl? They filmed Batgirl. It was completely done, ready to be released, and David Zaslav threw it in the vote because he said it wasn't worthy and it wasn't quality. Who knows what the hell it had in it? But you know, again, we're gonna keep on fighting, and hopefully one day we're gonna see it along with the air cut. And but again, this is what they're doing with Matt Reeves and stuff like that. So let's see what happens, you know. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think the Batman 2 is gonna happen. I really don't think. You're right, Ray. I don't think that's gonna happen, honestly. Um, let I know a lot of people are saying that hopefully Mr. Freeze is gonna be in it. Let's see. Let's see what route they want to go with and you know what they want to do and stuff like that. But again, time's gonna tell. Things are gonna, you know, determine what they want to do and how they want to go about and stuff like that. But this should be interesting because you know it's been just far too long, honestly, and who knows what's gonna happen for sure. You know, restore Snyderverse. That's what we're gonna keep on fighting, and that's what we want. You know, this could have been, if you think about it, this could have been the script for Ben Affleck's Batman. Now, are they gonna do and try to like cherry pick and still use ideas and elements of what Zach had with the Batman originally with with Ben Affleck. Who knows? Who knows? Time's gonna tell, and let's see what's gonna happen with that because this is interesting, but at the same time, look, if they filmed Batgirl and they did everything, they released images, they released videos, they leaked, and earlier this year, like I told y'all, probably like in January, February, somebody had released and what it was a clip with a Firefly with Batgirl. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, I was impressed. I was like, wow, that looks good. And that's just behind the scenes. That's not even the actual, official camera work. So I was like, damn, what are they trying to hide? What are they trying to cover up? See what I'm saying? So I'm like, who knows what the hell the studio's trying to do? But let's just see. Let's see how far this goes. And I don't really think it's gonna see daylight, honestly, because again, don't forget, don't be jumping for joy yet because Batgirl was filmed. They had everything ready to go, and in the end, they canceled it. So again, anything could come from this. Let's see what happens. And this is going to be interesting to see. But we will see. We will see where they go with all of this, and who knows what they're gonna do. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I liked the first suit. I didn't like the cow. I really didn't like that cow and the cape. The cape was too short, and like the costume was okay, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. And the Batmobile, that was the worst Batmobile. That car looks like it belongs in the Fast and the Furious. Honestly, I was like, yeah, nah, I'm not. I'm not feeling that car. Honestly, But let's see again. Let's see what's gonna happen with that because things are shifting, things are changing, and the same way they turned in this late script, because let's be real, it's been a few years. I mean, anything can come from this, honestly, and any surprise can come towards the fans. Yeah, that was just a souped up Charger. I wasn't feeling that Charger, honestly. That was when I saw that, I was like, that's not a Batmobile. That's not a Batmobile. And it's just not. This whole Matt Reeves universe just isn't for me, honestly. It's like he's trying to be hardcore, like Christopher Nolan and what we already seen with the Nolan verse. But again, let's see. Don't forget Batgirl. Don't forget if they can that. Don't think that they can't can this one. But look at what just came out today too. This I just came across, with our friends over at Cine House with the following that they posted this. So after they announced the Batman 2, oh, guess who got to get in the picture? That's right, James Gunn. Because now James Gunn's DCU says that it needs its own Batman, according to DC Studios co-CEO. And of course, who's the co-CEO? Isn't it what's this guy this other clown? I can't remember right now. That's how bad it is. See what I'm saying? The other clown, I can't remember right now. Put it in the comments because I can't remember right now. Um, Peter Safran. There you go. And so you have Peter Safran saying and backing up that James Gunn's DCU needs its own Batman. Come on, we already know what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, we've already seen what's coming. All right. By the time that we get to quote unquote the Batman 2, James Gunn, while he's still in power, they're not gonna make it that far. Honestly, they're not. They're gonna cancel it and they're just gonna do a tax write off, and that's what's gonna happen with that. And as long as James Gunn's in power, which he won't be in power very long, I'm telling you right now, because rumor has it in 2026, like I've been telling y'all, his contract is about to expire, and WB doesn't want to renew it because of all the money that he's costed the company. And as a CEO of DC Studios, he has not been doing a good job. So, it's all catching up to them. It's slowly creeping up on them. And it is what it is. What can we say? What can we say, right? This is very interesting. I know some people posted on the comments that I saw. Somebody was saying, "Oh, they're moving forward with the Batman because in case James Gunn's Superman tanks, and they want to go with that." And and look, I'm gonna be honest with you, the Batman didn't make the money that the studio wanted, and even that didn't work. They thought they were gonna make $1 billion. Well, they made like 700 million. That wasn't enough for the studio. The studio's greedy. They want over $1 billion, but they're not putting out the movies that people really want like that. So on when you look at it at the end, it's about what you got to give the fans, and that right there is what the studio is not doing. For a while they've been ignoring the fans, and it's just catching up to them. And honestly, I'm not surprised of whatever's going to come from this. All right, so you feel that Peacemaker season 2 will be the last DCU project, and there's already a trailer now for Supergirl and other stuff probably won't see the daylight. Yeah, That's exactly what we've been saying. Supergirl might be another one that's probably gonna be the last thing that we're gonna see from James Gunn, because remember in 2026 his contract is about to expire sometime in the summer, and that's gonna be marking, I think, what it was, his 4 year contract or so. And what has he done in the 4 years? Crap. He hasn't done crap, you know. And now is when they're quote unquote trying to do things. It's already too late. The damage is already done, and there really isn't no type of saving this company anymore, you know. But they've brought this upon themselves, you know. This is what this studio wanted. This is what they chose to go with, and it hasn't been working with them, you know. And we the fans, we know what's up, you know. We've been keeping our wallets closed, and we've been doing a fine job with that. And again, we're gonna keep them locked coming in 2 weeks with Superman, because we already know what's up with that, you know. And that's honestly like what we really want and stuff like that. So we'll see what's gonna happen. All right, let me see. The Batman Batmobile is worse than Batman and Robin Batmobile. Hell yeah, hell yeah. The Batman with Robert Pattinson, his Batmobile. Yeah, that's not a Batmobile. You're right. The Batman from Batman and Robin, 10 times better than that, and that says a lot. You know, honestly, that really says a lot. So Batfleck is my Batman. Yep, I agree with you, my friend. That is true. All right. Y'all hear the news? Sony want to sell Spider-Man back to Marvel. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, really? That's very interesting. Hmm. There must be some big money on the table with that. Honestly, if that's I'm gonna have to look into that. I had no idea. So, what up? What up? I see you. Appreciate you for watching. Here we are doing this live stream. So, like I said, 3 topics we're gonna be talking about. Yo, what up? What up? You already know. Here we are, you know, chatting it up on a Saturday. Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend and all that good stuff. Every clip they release been bad. Yeah, everything. It just goes from bad to worse. And we're gonna get into something real interesting in the next topic right now. So I'm just trying to catch up and keep up to date with the comments and stuff like that. So, you know, hell yeah, you already know it. Wallets closed. Yes, my friends. You already know. Superflog's already getting bad reviews. Yeah. That's what I'm about to talk about next. So yep, better close our wallets until we get the Snyderverse. Hell yeah, you already know it. Yep, exactly. Wallets closed. Damn, y'all going fast. I'm trying to keep up. So I'm just gonna be putting the comments and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. Schumacher, it's a lot better and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, I'm completely agreeing with you on that, my friends. I see a lot of comments and stuff. So here we go. Here we go. And let me just try to catch up real quick. Yes, no Snyderverse, no money. You already know. Right. The rumor is that Sony might buy DC. No, that's not gonna happen. Real talk, that's not gonna happen. Sony can't afford DC like that. They just can't. The ones that can, don't sleep. I've been telling y'all, don't sleep. It's not Netflix. It's gonna probably be Comcast. I'm telling you. 2026, Comcast comes into play. You don't believe me? Go Google it and see. They're gonna be doing that. I don't know if it's a partnership network, whatever the hell they're doing with HBO Max. So, like I said, don't sleep and keep an eye on them, because honestly, you know, things are about to shift. Things are about to shift. Yeah, James Gunn Superman Fandango tickets are empty. Yeah, and they probably still are. Nobody's really buying them, and the few little bit of people, yeah, nobody's really interested in that, honestly. And yeah, the toys are not selling. You notice that they're all going straight to clearance, man. Look, I'm gonna straight up. I went what it was to Target today, and I saw those things. They're all overstocked. Nobody's buying them. They are not buying them. And I'm telling y'all. Remember, I predicted this, and I said this was gonna happen as we get closer. The lies and how everything's gonna go straight to clearance, and that's exactly where we are. So, you know, we'll see what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's the rumor and stuff like that. All right, so look, let's talk about the next topic, which it brings us into next week. Well, the next 2 weeks, which is gonna be Superman. So we already been hearing that there's videos out there. If you haven't seen them, do your search. Like I said, leaks are coming out, spoilers are coming out. People are starting to talk about this movie, and honestly, I am not surprised, because what they've been doing is just straight up exposing it. You have, show channels coming out and saying that, you could tell that their feelings are hurt. You could tell that they were being paid, because they're doing the reviews. You could tell they're bitter. They're like, their tone of voice, they're like, yeah, Superman's not what we expected. It's good, but this and that. You don't hear them as they were before, doing that fake, hey, Superman's the best thing, blah blah blah. Now what? They're saying that it's disappointing, and it's a mess. It's just a freaking mess, and that's what we've been saying for a while. We knew it. We knew that this was gonna happen, and no matter what they try to do, there's no saving it. It's too late. It's too late. James Gunn can't go to the studio right now, like I said, in 1 month and re-edit and redo this and fix it. There's no, it's too late. It's done. It is done. This is why I was telling a lot of people before the trailer came out. Stop talking and stop giving ideas to James Gunn because he's taking his little notepad and writing. It would be hilarious if James Gunn's probably listening to me or he comes across this video and he's like, yo, this guy is constantly always talking, but taking notes and say, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we got to change and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm not giving you ideas, James Gunn. I'm not giving your team any ideas how to fix your mess. That's your mess you created. And like I said, on July 11, our wallets will be locked. They will remain locked for the whole month of July. And this movie is going to tank harder than Joker 2. You think that the flush was bad? Get ready because Joker 2 was, like I said, a preview of what's to come. And remember when the flush came out and we saw that little dog? I was like, that's going to be crypto. You're going to see that's crypto. And that's exactly what we're getting. Look at the video that James Gunn just posted yesterday on his Twitter. If you follow and you keep up to date on Twitter, he showed his, what it was, crypto running around and just flying. I was like, what the hell? Like, seriously? Who knows what the hell? Like I said, they're just trying to cater this movie to kids, and that's what they're trying to stay at. Honestly, they're just catering to the shows, and we know that the shows don't pay. They don't buy. They don't pay. The shows always want a freebie. They always want to give me a freebie, and I'll write a fake review about you. I don't need you to write a review about me, regardless. You're gonna talk. So these shows just want free handouts, and now that they've seen this movie, it's like, your feelings are crushed, right? So again, this is going to tank so bad, worse than Joker 2, and just seeing it and everything, it's just a mess, and it is what it is. This is what WB wanted. This is what, the studio wanted to move forward. And now you're going to feel and really know where the majority of the fans are. Because remember, don't forget, I'm trying to remind y'all, and as we get closer, I'm going to keep on reminding y'all. James Gunn is making fun of the Snyder fans and the Snyder community. Remember that video that came out before he said what he said, that, oh, it was a minority and this and that? I don't know who it was, some other channel that they were saying, oh, James Gunn, don't say that. Don't disrespect the Snyder fans. Don't do it. Take it back. And he didn't take it back. It's like he loves jabbing at us. It's like, okay, all right, so we're the minority? Yeah. You remember when the other guy, the big dude, I don't remember his name, the stupid guy that's, with the glasses and, the big dude, I don't remember his name, Steve or whatever. And he comes out on Peacemaker and he was like, oh, how's that boycott going? Funny that you bring that up, my friends. Funny that you bring that up, because come July 11, guess what you're going to find out? Who the majority of the fans are. You will see. Your ticket sales are not selling. So that's a preview. Like I said, put those seatbelts on and brace for impact on July 11, because it's about to go down. And they know it. They know it. So when you say, how's that boycott going? How's those ticket sales going? That's right. They're not selling. And this is where we come into play, because we are the majority. We're the fans, the customers, and the consumers. And I've been saying that for over 2 years. If you've been following me and you've been keeping up to date with my videos and my posts and all that stuff, you know where I stand. And you know that I already predicted all of this before anybody was talking about it. Because in the beginning, once they announced this reboot, majority of the fans, including, sadly, unfortunately, some channels that were supporting Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse, and they grew their channel off of the community, they literally turned their backs. And you know who they are. I'm not going to mention them. I don't have to mention them. And they said so many negative things. I don't sit here and say negative things about us. I'm part of the fandom. And I'm still fighting for Restore the Snyderverse, because that's what I firmly believe in. And we'll talk about something in the next topic, but, regarding the Transformers. And that's what I'm telling y'all. We have to keep on fighting. Our voices are being heard. We're being seen. They notice us. They know we're here. We're not quiet. We're not silent. They know it. So the studios are aware of us. This is what I'm telling you, especially these channels that have, over 10,000 followers, over 5,000 followers. Like, yo, they're not really putting in the work like they're supposed to. They talk about it from here time to time, but I'm constantly talking about this, and you guys see the comments that some people leave, and it's like, all right, it is what it is. But, here we are. Here we are, still strong, still going together. And most of all, we're united, and that's the part that the studio fails to see. When the studio ignores us and insults us and disrespect us, what are we going to do? Are we gonna keep on tolerating it? No. Like Bane said, remember when Bane was freeing the criminals from what it was, I think, with Blackgate, with when he was on the tank, and he had the picture of Harvey, and he's like, do you forgive this person? Like in other words, the same with us. Are we going to forgive what WB has done to us after Zack Snyder? Are we going to put up and tolerate with this? You decide. You're the fan. You have the power in your, literally in your hand, whether it's your phone that you pay digital, or a physical card or cash. It's physical or digital. Are you gonna keep your wallet open or closed? I know where I stand at. My wallet is fully closed and locked. I'm not buying a ticket, not even to go and review this movie. I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite and say, "Hey, look, boycott James Gunn and his Superman, but let me go watch the movie so I can come and review it." No, no, I'm gonna stand with y'all, and that's how we need to do it. Because just like the Spartans in 300, that they all put up their shields and they're walking, together, united. That's how we need to do. Because this is what these James Gunn shills are coming out, and all these cultists trying to attack and trying to bark and trying to talk down on us and say everything negative. But in the end, we're going to come out victorious. And that's the point. That's what we need to do. Together, united, we're going to make that, completely happen. And the studio knows it. The studio knows exactly the power of the Snyder fans. They want to ignore us, but then they want to go ahead and let's release, these this merchandise, McFarlane toys, statues, t-shirts, hats. Let's re-release the movies. It's like, okay, so you want to remilk us again. See what I'm saying? So they know that it sells. And then everything from James Gunn goes straight to clearance. So this tells you, when you have early reactions coming out about James Gunn's Superman, that it's a complete mess, a lot of fans are going to be confused after they see this movie. I don't have to watch this movie to tell you, hey, this movie's bad. No, you've already given us what, 3 trailers and probably 2 extra little behind the scene type of, exclusive clips, plus whatever's coming out. Yeah, I'm already convinced this movie's DOA. It's DOA. It's done. It's done completely, And to the ones that are wondering, what's DOA? Dead on arrival. That's all it is. Completely. It's DOA. There's no saving this movie. This brand is done, And the way that they keep it up, I'm telling you straight up, it's just they know what's up. They know what's up. What's up? What's up? Oh, yes. Greetings to everybody from Brazil and Philippines. Yes. You already know it. Yep, yep. You're gonna go see Batman Part 2 when it comes out in 2027 instead, if it even gets released. Well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. It's like I said, it's interesting time. But we're gonna see what's gonna happen, honestly, because look, this is the beginning of a reboot, and look at how bad it's already starting. The early reviews and screenings, everybody's starting to leak this stuff. I'm telling you straight up, the same way that we saw the leak of Henry Cavill with Black Adam, that is going to happen to this movie, but times two, honestly. Like it's just gonna find out. It's just gonna find out, honestly. It's gonna find its way to the internet. It always does, and I'm telling you, it's going. The studio has no idea, no clue what's coming their way, and I'm all up for it. I'm down for it. And let's see, Like I said, we're literally what, 2 weeks away from this movie, and we're already getting down. And it's crazy because I was just hearing. I was just hearing the song. It's the final countdown. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I was listening to that. So it's funny that comes and it's leading up to this. It's like this is gonna be interesting, yo. Like I'm telling y'all, like, oh man, and the best part about it is being here with each and every one of you, wherever you are around the world. We've been talking and saying this for over 2 years. For over 2 years. Think about that. Here we are. We're reaching the final line. Literally, we're at the final countdown. We're getting to the end of the marathon. And you all been seeing, there's times that I'm like, man, I'm tired of talking about the same thing, but I can't give up because you motivate me. And when I say you, I'm talking to you individually, wherever you are, even to the haters, the ones that are still talking down and, making fun and poking. Thank you. Thank you. Because all you're doing is just motivating me even more. That's how I work. I work backwards, if you want to say. Some people are like, nah, I'm not like that. I am. The more you tell me no, the more I'm going to keep on going. That's just how I work. This is why I don't give up. And with that being said, all right, we're going to move into the next topic, which is the one that I really, really want to talk about the most because you already know I'm a Transformers fan, baby. In the end, long live the Bavers, restore the Bavers. We are winning. And this is the fact, all right? Because this is the rumor that's floating around. And notice it came out and Hasbro hasn't denied it. Paramount hasn't denied it. And the Transformers channel or brand haven't denied it. So this is something interesting right here, all right? Like I said, cinema is about to change again. Some of y'all might be like, oh, how? But this and that. Look, so we have Josh Cooley. He's the director that made Transformers 1, right? So all you G1 fans, look, there's your cup of tea right there, all right? I stand with Michael Bay, and that's what I want. Look, probably, let's not forget, they announced not long ago that they want to do, I think it's going to be like a 5 minute or 10 minute type of thing with some type of episodes or something like that. They're going to be releasing soon. So look, for you G1 fans, probably that's what you're going to be getting. Good. All right. Enjoy. Like I said, I'm a Transformers fan. I like G1 too. But when it comes to live action movies, my movies have to be what Michael Bay did, honestly. And, I'm going to be honest with you, for like the remaining of the time that we have left, that's what I want to focus on right now. Look, what Michael Bay did was ahead of the game, ahead of the time, and it just changed cinema. And honestly, look, this right here, you have this duel. Hey, anything can happen. And let's not forget that we had in Rise of the Beasts, the setup of GI Joe with Transformers. Now, this is just me speculating. Is the studio going to bring Michael Bay and give him the chance and say, "Hey, look, we want you to do the next Transformers, which would be Transformers 6, under what I consider the Bayverse, and this would be perfect, honestly. I just made a video of it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But what we did, right, as the fans, this is huge. This right here is huge. It's so huge that I started rewatching the last night, literally last night. And when I rewatched it, there's so many things that are still connected, and it's explaining of what happened, what's leading up, what it's setting up. The main thing in this movie of the last night, and I get it, a lot of people didn't like it. Go back and rewatch it. I'm telling you, watch Age of Extinction, because that's the second trilogy. Remember, the first three films is with Shia LaBeouf. The second one, the second trilogy, is with Mark Wahlberg. Focus on the fourth one and the fifth one, which is the last night. It's setting up something big, like what we saw with Zack Snyder's Justice League, that it was teasing Darkseid, and what we've seen with the MCU leading into Thanos. And all of a sudden, you, as a Transformers type of movie, you're gonna just talk about and set up Unicron, the biggest threat of the Transformers franchise, and you're just gonna ignore it and say, you know what, that never happened. No, no, no. You need to go back. You need to go back and pick up from where that left off. And there's so many things that they can do. Way so many things. And if they have these two directors and they're both gonna probably partner up, but who knows what the hell? I'm just speculating. Then hey, more power to it. As long as Michael Bay is involved directing, that's all I care about. If they're not gonna do something together, that's even better. Let them both do their own thing. Let them cook, and again, let the fans decide what they want. I stand with what Michael Bay did with the Transformers and the Bayverse, and honestly, that's what I want. And I get it. A lot of people didn't want that, but let's face the facts. It made money. It revived the brand, and it held the brand because merchandise sold, tickets sold, they resold, and they continue to sell, in the sense of with merchandise and movies and stuff like that. Even though like they're old movies, but people still are buying them, and that's what matters to the company. For Hasbro, Paramount, they want to sell this IP. Because if we continue the way that they are, it's pretty much history repeating again. It's already proven. 3 directors, 3 takes, three point of views that are different from Michael Bay, and they haven't worked. I'm sure Michael Bay must be at the, when he's producing these movies, like, yo, you need to bring me back. You need to let me do my thing. But, the studio's the one that pulled them and said, nah, like, we're going to go a different route. So, hey, I'm telling you straight up. And that's all they have to do, honestly. And if they do that, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. And this is the time for the studio to do this, in the sense of, you don't have Marvel doing a crossover with their own IP. You don't have DC doing a crossover with their own IP. This would be a game changer for the Transformers brand, because you're gonna have GI Joe, that they own, that has they own that IP, you know, doing a crossover with their own movie. Yo, just think about that. Let that sink in. You're doing an IP with your own IP. You're playing literally with your own toys. Have fun and go all out. And that's what Michael Bay does. When I see his movies, I'm telling you straight up, like when I hear the music, the score and all that, I just want to tear just because of joy. I'm like, yo, this is cinema. It's quality. Like even the jokes. Sometimes, yes, they could be a little cringe, but it works. It works. That's all that matters. As a fan, that it works for me. I'm like, I don't care. I like it. It's entertaining. I don't want to see a boring movie that's like Transformers 1 that's catered to kids. That movie was catered to kids, straight up. Sometimes as fans, we got to get off the nostalgia wagon. And I get it. Some fans, especially the G1 fans, that's why sometimes, look, I'm going to crush some feelings. Sometimes I say, y'all some G whiners, because you're still stuck in that generation one. We're already past all that. Michael Bay is the future. His version of the Transformers are ahead of the game. They're just futuristic type of robots, whatever it is that he's doing. And I love it. I love it. I'm supporting it. I want more of it. Like if they want to do more with Transformers one, animated, whatever the hell they want to do it. Do it. Let those fans enjoy it. But when it comes to the live action blockbuster summer movies where you're gonna make bank, and I look forward to seeing in the theaters and rewatching, you need Michael Bay. You just do. It didn't work with the other three directors. It didn't work with the other three visions, because you have three different directors and it didn't work. You got cartoons, you got G1, you got the other one that was a mix. It didn't work. All three of them. That's it. You need to bring back Michael Bay. That's why with all this news that we've been getting, like this is incredible. This is really incredible, and I'm excited for it. I'm really excited, and it's just a game changer. In the end, that's all that it is about, you love Michael Bay vision of Transformers. Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people don't like the designs. I get it, and that's cool. But I love it though. I like it. I really, really love what he's doing, and it's sold. That's all that matters. They made money, and that's what this company needs. Because right now they've been going downhill bad. Always say love GI Joe Transformers crossover movies. Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope to see all of this. That's what's happening and stuff like that. Restore the Bayverse, ignore Bob Iger. Yeah. And you all know that I've been talking about that for a while. It's not like I just started talking about Michael Bay and the Bayformers overnight. It's just how I've been talking about the Snyderverse. And this right here, talking about the Snyderverse, is a game changer because look, let's be honest. If this does happen, I'm telling you right now, the studio's gonna make money, the stock's gonna go up, all that good stuff, right? They're just going back to what works. Somebody posted a comment on Twitter, and it's interesting what they said. I didn't capture it, but I'm just remembering what they said. And they were like, if Marvel brought back the Russo brothers, and now Hasbro, Paramount are bringing back Michael Bay, yo, it's just a matter of time before we get WB to bring back Zack Snyder. And it's true. It's true. Without Zack Snyder, WB is not working. Nothing. Look how many movies have tanked. And Superman's going to be added to that list. And, it's just telling you, they had the opportunity. James Gunn could have come in and say, you know what? I'm going to bring in, quote unquote, my friend, if he's really your friend, Zack Snyder, and you would have continued and ended it right. But no, instead, he wanted to do his own thing. And look at how bad it's already starting. That's the same thing now with Transformers. After Michael Bay, all these movies have been doing bad at the box office. And this is why the studio needs Michael Bay. Let's be real, because they're about to lose their own IP, their own rights to the movie. And they have the rights until 2029. So if they start doing it now, and they're like Sony in the sense that they had to just keep on putting out content. If not, they're gonna lose that the rights to their own movie. Now that where leaves the studio at? Well, if you're gonna sell it off like you said you are, what do you think is gonna happen? Probably the same thing like what's happening with Universal right now and the Hulk. Remember, Universal owns the rights to the movie of the Hulk. How come we haven't been seeing no movies? How come Marvel, do you know, like they have to play around with that? There's so much that they can do. And look at how they did the Hulk in the last movie of what it was. I think it was an Endgame or something. They softened him up. He wasn't the Hulk like when he first came out in, the first Avengers movie. And the same thing, Transformers. Yo, look, I get it. Transformers is a different take with Michael Bay, and I get it. Mike, you get Optimus talking about that he's gonna, K certain characters and stuff like that. I don't care. I'm good with that. I'm like, he's doing what he has to do. It's just like Ben Affleck's Batman in the Snyderverse. He's gonna case some of these people. He has to do what he has to do. He's gonna stop all of these villains at all costs. And the same thing with Optimus. Bavers and like it's just awesome. I like it. It's entertaining, and that's what really matters, honestly. And seeing how everybody's talking about it, you have people that are literally against Michael Bay and his vision of the Transformers. They're having a meltdown right now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it because they were saying for so long, oh, this about the Bayverse, so many negative things. Screw you, haters. Honestly, we got it. We're getting it back, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And just like that, we're gonna get Zach back, and we already know that he's back for the 300 prequel. That's gonna be probably in the next 3 years that we're gonna probably see an update because he's right now filming, what is it, that UFC movie that they're working on. So that's good. Zach is busy, and now seeing Michael Bay that he's gonna be busy again with the Transformers IP. Let's go. Like I said, he's the king when it comes to the movies of the Transformers cinematic universe. I'm saying it how it is, that he's the king. He made money at the box office. Say what you want, but that's all that matters. If I was a studio, I would be like, yo, 600 million, that's let's go. Let's go. Especially in today's economy. I mean, you need that type of money. And look at how this industry has been. It's down the drain, clogged up, no good entertainment. And then when good entertainment comes out, it barely gets any spotlight because, of course, you have, the media that they don't want you to see good movies. And, this has to be a game changer. And yeah, yeah, the Optimist, like he goes hard. Like it's just, if you think about it, it's a realistic take on it. That's how I see it. I'm not like, oh, this is exactly like in the cartoons. If I want to see the cartoons and I want that type of character to be just like in the cartoons, I'll go watch the cartoons. Like I don't care about that. I want to see what this director is doing, and then the camera angles that he does. Like there's no other director that films like him. And then another thing too, what I see is when I was rewatching this movie the last night, there's a lot of slow motion shots, and they're beautiful. They look just like Zack Snyder's shots. Of course, it's Michael Bay's vision and version and stuff like that. But it's like, yo, it works. It works because here you have Megatron. He's about to like take some, he's about to blow something up, and just put it in slow motion. It's like, yo, that's so dope. It's like that is badass. Like, and of course, in all the Transformers movies, like in the first one, when they're in the city, and you see I think it was Black Hawk, and then they shoot the rockets, and you see the angle, literally like you're right in the rocket itself. I was like, oh shit, damn, that's fucking cinema right there. When you literally, it's like you're the missile going to where it has to go. Like it's just freaking incredible. And then when you see that robot, I forgot which one it was, and then there's an explosion, they're shooting at each other, and then you see the lady screaming, and then the camera pans from the bottom up, and it just starts looking from left to right in slow motion while she's screaming. I'm like, damn, that is cinema. That's amazing. You see what I'm saying? And seeing all of these characters and all these robots, and it's just awesome. And then you see screws and bolts and parts of them flying everywhere. Like when you see Sentinel fighting with Optimus and Megatron, Dark of the Moon, I'm like, damn, like he went all out. You see him rip off Sentinel's head, and you see all the oil spilling everywhere, all the wires, and all the sparks and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, the details, like that's what I like. And if you look at these movies, it's been what, over like 8 years. Those movies have aged well. The CGI on them are incredible. It's like, what? Like they're still modern, up to date. And like I said, it's just interesting. I love it. I love the Bayverse. I want more of it, and honestly, if they want to just do one last film with him to connect and go all out, like I said in my previous video, most recent video, look, like a lot of fans have been saying, it would be perfect if they call it Rise of Unicron. It would be. It would be just something with Unicron. You know how they always put a little subtitle and stuff like that? And literally, you imagine that Transformers, Rise of Unicron, or something, or Unicron Rises. Who knows what that? But that would be dope. Like that alone's gonna sell because if you have Marvel doing with the Avengers setting up to, the Infinity Saga, Infinity War, whatever the hell, you know, and then they bring in Thanos. Like they were teasing from all of these years. Now's the time for this company to like be like, you know what, let's do it. And when you look at it, when you see the last night, that's what, like I said, I was rewatching it. I'm like, yo, this is setting up Unicron, and I get it. A lot of people are gonna be like, oh, but Unicron's not supposed to be planet Earth. He's supposed to be, he destroys planets and stuff like that. I don't care. I'm good with that. I don't care. Is Unicron? I'm down with it. Like I want to see his design. And when you see Quintessa, like bringing in Cybertron and stuff, like I was like, damn, like yo, like we need that to happen already. And I get it. I think it was in Dark of the Moon, or was it in Revenge of the Fallen in the opening? I think it was Dark of the Moon. We see a glimpse of Cybertron, but I'm talking to you and I'm getting chills just saying this, just because go rewatch that clip. You see when I think it was the Autobots, they're escaping the Ark, and you see the downfall of Cybertron. But this is Michael Bay's vision. This is not what we saw in Bumblebee. I love what we got in Bumblebee. Hell, I wish a whole movie was made just like that. But we know it would be too expensive, because it's just too much rendering, CG, all that animation stuff like that. But what Bay gave us with that opening, and then you see the robots riding on the spaceships and just flying around, going at it until they crash into Earth. You get the point of view of like you being in the actual spaceship. It feels like a ride. And then when the cannons are going off, boom, 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 and it's like, yo, you just see the spaceships they're just zooming by. I'm like, damn, like I feel like I'm in that movie. That's what these other movies failed to capture. Sure, Bumblebee, the opening, I loved it. When I saw that, I was straight up I stood up and I was like, hell yeah. I was like freaking loud in the movie. I was like, damn, that's how you do that opening. But then after I saw the movie, I was like, damn, what a letdown, you know? And then with Rise of the Beast, I was like, okay, it had its parts, when the robots are fighting and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, that was dope. But the human parts, it just didn't feel right. It just felt too forced, too cheesy, and it was just too much comedy. And then what we saw with Transformers one, I was like, yeah, that's not even for me. I only saw it because I was like, let me just see this so people don't say that I didn't see it. I saw it and I was like, it's just a kids movie. They try to cater to the adults, but it just wasn't. I think it was just because it was all animated. And like I said from the beginning, the designs on their faces just to me didn't drag my attention. I was like, those faces look so ridiculous. I was like, you could tell it's catered to kids. And the movie was okay, but it just wasn't for me. It's not one of those that, damn, I feel like watching Transformers. Let me watch Transformers 1. No, I don't have none of the merchandise. I don't even have the movies in my collection. I only have Michael Bay's movies in my collection, 1 to 5. That's all I have, because that's what I like. That's a fan. That's what I, really enjoy. And like I said, like I'm looking at my shelf of collection, literally right next to me, and I'm telling you straight up, I've got like probably like 6, 7 shelves, just filled with Bavers, the studio series, the toys and all that stuff, because that's what to me is that's what gets my attention. And I know a lot of fans do too. Sure, I got my G1s, G2s, all that stuff, but that's damn it, it sells. That's all. I'm a customer, I'm a fan, and I'm a consumer of this. And it's like, yo, like give me more. Like I need more. If you get my drift. And it's like, damn, what the studio was doing with this, and then they just dropped it just because, the criticism of the fans, and like who cares? They're still buying this stuff, and it's proven now. All these years, they constantly put out merchandise, from the Bavers, and it sells. It's just like DC that they're like, oh, we're not gonna do nothing with Zack Snyder, but yet they still keep on putting out, things of the Snyderverse. So therefore, it still lives because people are buying it. You can't say the same thing about James Gunn. You can't say the same thing about anybody else after Zack Snyder when DC and stuff like that. And you can't say the same thing about the Transformers brand. Like I said, you go to Universal Studios, what ride you see there? You don't see Transformers one. You don't see Transformers Bumblebee. You see Transformers literally from the Bayverse, the ride. That's exactly what it is. That's literally everything from Michael Bay in that movie. I mean, in that ride. It's like you from beginning to end, and it's awesome. Even the music. And then when you're finishing at the ride, you got that camera right above you with Megatron's broken face and stuff like that, and it just takes a picture of you, and then it plays the music from Dark of the Moon, and it's like, yo, like, damn, this is how you do it, and they're making money off of it. And that's what matters, and that's what Hasbro needs to see. That's what Paramount needs to see. They need to see that people are still going out there and they're still loving it. By now, it's already proven. Three directors, three different takes, three different visions. It didn't work. Just bring back Michael Bay. Let him do his last final film if you want. Bring in Unicron. Go all out. Bring all these Transformers. Hell, if you want to do the multiverse thing, do it. Bring them all in. Who cares? Just go all out. And like I said, make that movie like about 4 hours long. That could be like a two-part in one movie. And hell, if we could get Lord of the Rings, that's a long ass movie. Why can't we do the same thing for this? The Snyder Cut was 4 hours. It flew by. It flew by and it worked. The same thing. They could do the same thing with this, and it would be awesome. It really would be a game changer. And then setting up, or what they're doing with G.I. Joe, yo, Michael Bay's an expert with the military. You have all of that stuff with the military already incorporated in there. All you need to do is slap a logo of G.I. Joe, and there you go. That's it. It's like it's already there. So what else you want to do? You want to have freaking, what's it, Cobra Commander? I think that's his name. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about GI Joe. What he's gonna do right on Megatron? Go for it. Do it. Like if you're doing these toys with the crossovers and stuff, Soundwave right in some, I don't know, one of the villains from or the good guys. I don't know. From GI Joe. Do it. Do it. Just have fun with it. That's all I'm saying. And you can incorporate all that and just throw it all in there and just have fun. That's all it matters. Just have fun with it. And, like I said, as a fan, one final film with Michael Bay, call it, like I said, I don't know, Rise of Unicron with G.I. Joe. I don't know, whatever the hell they want to do. Incorporate all this. Yo, I'm telling you right now, that could be the next big franchise right there, because Marvel's not doing it. DC's not doing it. This is the time for this company to capitalize. Do a crossover with your own IPs. That's a game changer right there. That's a game changer. And if Hasbro and Paramount let this slip, I'm telling you right now, DC and Marvel are going to beat you to the punch. And they need to hurry up and do it. They need to hurry up and do it, because honestly, it's, how could you not want to see that in live action? I know I want to see that in live action already. Like I said, if I was talking with the studio, if I was the studio, I'll be like, why are we talking? Let's start filming. Like, tell me no more. Like, let's start filming. How much you need? Oh, you need this much? Let's go. Let's make it happen. Because we know we're going to flip it. People are going to want to see that. It's already, what, 5 films with Michael Bay. And then what you have with the other two, I mean, with the other 3, technically. So you got, like, what, 8 movies, but they're not really of the same universe. I'm just focused on the live action, and what Michael Bay did. I'm telling you straight up. And like I said, you want to bring in those Maximals from Rise of the Beast. I mean, they kind of look and they feel in tone with what Michael Bay gave us. They kind of have that same style, the same. You get what I'm saying? Like it could work. It could work. Damn it, use the multiverse if you want to, And it's like, just go back and just bring all that, throw it all in one movie. That's what I thought they were gonna do in Rise of the Beast, but I feel that they just dropped the ball, and it's just so much, and all right, so yeah, I see. Oh yeah, that's that lady, I think, right? What is it, Barones? I don't know how you pronounce it. Like I said, I'm not into GI Joe. Never been a fan of it, but I know they got some characters that are okay. But like I said, it just teach their own. But I'm interested to see this. Cobra Commando Starscream and most voice actors are that share that role. Yeah, that would be dope. That would be actually nice to see and stuff. Like I said, it could be a game changer. This studio does that. Oh man, I'm telling you straight up, like there's money sitting there. There's money sitting there. They can capitalize. You imagine how many toys and merchandise they could put out with that? Man, I'm telling you straight up. I'm not a GI Joe fan, but if they do that, they probably might make me into one. It's like Yeah, it's pretty dope. You know, like there's so many things. You know, it's going. You know, it's just so many things honestly that they could do. Yeah, it's going to be explosive. Yeah, and that's the fun part about these movies. That's what I like when these movies come out. Honestly, like the same thing with the Fast Saga. Look, I get it. The Fast Saga was about cars and racing and all the good stuff, but it's evolved. You know, and it's evolved in a good way. You know, and in this sense, damn it, it works. It works. They're not stealing VCRs. They're not stealing, you know, like in the first movie. And let's not forget that Hector's still out there working on that car, trying trying to win the race and steal it. You get what I'm saying? Let's not forget that. Don't sweep that under the rug. You know, it's good to see that joke from time to time. You know, but yeah, you know, from the Fast franchise. Look, I love that franchise. The Fast and the Furious. Yo, like I've been saying also, hell, if you want, and I know this is ridiculous what I'm about to say, but maybe the future needs this crossovers. Damn it, do a crossover with Jurassic World and the Fast Saga. I don't care. Who cares? Who cares if they went up to space and they could launch a car into space? Why can't we say that there's also dinosaurs roaming on the other side of the same universe? Who cares? Mash them together, have fun, because in the end, that's all it is. It's just about having fun. That's all I care about when I see these movies. That's why I like that. You know, I love the Fast Saga. A lot of people are like, "Yo, that movie has changed. Is no longer what it used to be." It been stopped doing that. I think it was probably the second one, the third one. Tokyo Drift was still good. It's an underrated movie. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm saying straight up, yo, when that beat drops, ding 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 ding. Have you ever know? You get what I'm saying? Like people know what's up with that Tokyo Drift song. You know, I know from time to time y'all be putting that on, but that movie still goes hard and it's still connected to the first two. You know, and after that, to me, it's like the brand kind of like changed and said, you know what, we're just gonna go full commercial, and that's what they did. You know, they forgot about racing and they just started going into like, all right, let's let hotter cars, you know, faster futuristic cars and whatever, but it works. That's all that matters. That's why it's ridiculous, but at the same time, like, I don't even care. Shit, let's go. Here's my money. The next Fast and the Furious saga, let's go. It's all about having fun. That's all I care about, you know. And they own the same IP. Damn it, do it. And that's the same thing with what Michael Bay has been doing with the Transformers. Okay, it's not G1. So what? So what is not G1? These movies are fun. They're entertaining. That's all I care about, you know. And then another thing too that I like, what I was noticing with the last night is when you're seeing these, you know, the robot vehicle modes, Michael Bay always finds a way to surprise me and shock me in the way as a fan. Like, damn, this dude always comes up with the most hottest cars that are available at that moment. When you see Bumblebee as a Camaro, I'm like, damn, hold on. Every single movie, he's a different Camaro, and it's like it just gets better and better. And I'm like, damn, I like that. It's futuristic, and that's what the Transformers should be. They should be futuristic. They shouldn't be stuck in, oh, we're just gonna. They're all gonna be boxes like in G1, and they turn into a big old cassette player and, you know, a big old 1980s satellite. Yo, we've already moved past that. I get it. That's nostalgia. Nostalgia doesn't sell like that though. Okay, in toys and merchandise, but not in the movies because it didn't work with Transformers 1. It didn't work with Rise of the Beast and it didn't work with Bumblebee. You know, not enough fans showed up for that. And honestly, that tells you where the fans were, what they really want. So I think by now, Hasbro and Paramount doing this is a game changer. And I think that this is the route and this is the best route that they need to go about. And it's gonna work. It's gonna work. All they have to do is just stick to it. Let him do his thing. Let these directors do their thing. You know, if Josh wants to do his thing, let it be however he wants to. Michael wants to do his thing, let him do his thing. You know, they don't have to connect, they don't have to cross, they don't have to anything. Let them both keep their thing separate for one side of the fandom and then the other side of the fandom, and that's it. You know, it's a win-win for both. And in the end, to all are one. You know, because that's what it's all about. In the end, it's all about to all are one. We're Transformers fans, you know, and in the end, we should be like that, you know, and we stay united, we enjoy, we pick and choose what we like, but in the end, there's no bashing on one and bashing on the other, unlike what we are in the DC community, you know. It's sad, but it's because the studio has allowed this, you know. This is why I give it to Marvel. Marvel, look, let's be real. Disney with Marvel, they're eating good, even though they're eating a bowl of poop, but they're still eating good. And I say that exaggerated because it's true. You have all these side shows and movies, but they're still getting, you know, their cup of tea, if you want to say. Over at DC, we can't say the same thing. We just can't. Majority of us wants the Snyder verse back. Then you have the Matt Reeves fans. Then you have now with James Gunn, you have three different verses. Literally, the Snyder verse, the Gunn verse, and the Reeves verse. And we can't say that we're all enjoying it. Like I can't say honestly. Maybe some of you might, but I can't say I'm enjoying everything that they're putting out because I'm gonna be lying to you. I just can't. And I'm gonna be honest. They missed the chance with the Flash. They really did. They could have brought in every single Batman, including rest in peace to what's his name right now? I can't remember right now from Batman Forever. Man, I'm like kind of dry right now. Remind me, please. Remind me. I can't remember right now his name. But this actor, before he passed away, they could have brought him into this movie, and it's Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer. They could have brought in Val Kilmer. They could have brought in Michael Keaton. They could have brought in Ben Affleck. They could have brought in Robert Pattinson. They could have brought in George Clooney. They could have brought Christian Bale. All of these Batman that are still around, and they could have just done like what they did with Spider-Man No Way Home. But no, no. Instead, WB and DC decided to say, you know what? We're gonna piss on the fans, and they screwed it all up. They screwed it all up, and that's the same thing with the brand of the Transformers. Live action, it sells with Michael Bay. Cartoons, toys, merchandise, okay, G1 sells, good. But in the end, we're all Transformers fans. We're all fans, customers, and consumers, and that's all that matters. You know. And again, it's an amazing time to see how everything is going on right now and what we're seeing, with 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 this news right here. Seeing with what Michael Bay is returning back to direct, besides producing, this is a game changer. This is a game changer, honestly. And appreciate y'all for telling me, yeah, it was Val Kilmer. And seeing all of that, because in the end, like I said, we are the fans, the customers, and consumers, and the studios need to know that. When they know that, they have to accept, hey, we have to give the fans what they want. And when you refuse to do that, you lose your audience. When you lose your audience, you lose your customers, and most of all, you lose your fan base. And that's exactly what's happened to a lot of these studios. It's happening to all of these studios, happening to the mighty Marvel. Look at how Marvel was dominating the industry and how the mighty has collapsed. That tells you everything. This is why they probably say, you know what, let's go back to what works. This is why they're bringing everybody back. Don't be surprised. Like I said it, Secret Wars, and this is giving me chills telling you, Secret Wars, I can already see what's going to happen. They're going to be bringing variants of every character, and they're going to go all out with that movie. Meanwhile, DC, if they don't bring Zack Snyder back, they're going to still be in the dump with whatever they're trying to do. Still trying to get off of phase one because they have no clue what's going on. And if the Transformers brand does maybe something with Michael Bay and connecting into the last film, but setting up something new and big with Unicron, like the Avengers and Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's a game changer with G.I. Joe. That's a huge, massive game changer. They have to do it, make it happen, and that's where the money is at, honestly. But this is what it is. Again, I want to thank y'all for watching, for tuning in. We will stop at nothing when it comes to everything in this fandom, because in the end, we're the fans, customers, and consumers. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you because you've been watching the videos and you've been subscribing, helping the channel. I really, really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's amazing to see the comments, good or bad, thumbs up, thumbs down. In the end, we're here. Like I said, it's okay to disagree. And I get it. Some fans go out of their way to make videos and talk about my opinion. It's ridiculous, but some fans are like that. I still appreciate that, honestly. I have no hard feelings towards nobody. And in the end, this is all just fun. That's all it is. It's all fun, good fun. That's what it should be. But when people cross the line, of course, I have to like delete and, blog and stuff like that. I don't want to, but like I said, say what you want, just say it respectfully and don't disrespect other fans. I get it. Some of us agree, don't agree. It is what it is. But like I said, we're getting close. Next week is Jurassic World. I can't wait for that. I'm ready. My tickets have been ready since the moment they announced it. And I'm gonna be there watching it. I can't wait for that. Like I said, good entertainment. That's all I care about. And I know for sure majority of you just want good entertainment and stuff like that. So, all that good stuff. Like I said, I'm still working on my comic. I have a name already picked out. I'm still doing some paperwork and stuff like that. So once all of that is ready, prepare yourselves because, like I said, something good is on the horizon and stuff like that. So for all of us to enjoy again. But yeah, so with that, I want to leave it. Probably tomorrow I'll be back and I'll do like an open mic and stuff like that. So I can send the link and some people can get on and stuff like that. So if you want to just prepare and stuff like that. And like I said, we're gonna try to keep it cool and chill if we do that. Like I said, it's gonna be the first one being like that. But we'll see how that works out and stuff like that. But y'all have a good Saturday. Enjoy your day or wherever you are around the world. Stay safe. You know, all that good stuff. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching and peace.